Hey guys, thanks for watching. Let's go ahead and get to it. So I've already applied primer to my eyes and I just used the Maybelline Master Conceal in the shade Light and set that all over my eyes. Alright, so I'm starting off with my transition shade. I'm using the shade Sherbert and I'm just going to apply this all in my crease area and slowly blend it up towards my brow. Now on a fluffy brush, I'm picking up the shade Buttery and I'm just going to be applying this over top of the shade that I had already applied to kind of diffuse it a little bit and to blend it out a little more. So for my lid, I'm using the shade Pink Champagne, and before I'm applying this to my eyelid, I'm spraying some Fix Plus on a flat shader brush to kind of make the color pop a little more. So as you can see, I'm trying to build up the color with the brush, but it wasn't picking up the color like I thought it would. So then I'm just going in with my finger to kind of pack on the color a little bit more. And honestly, you guys, like, there is nothing wrong with using your finger. I use my fingers so much. It's ridiculous. I actually did someone's makeup over the weekend and I was like, I hope you don't mind, but I use my hands a lot. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with using it. I feel like it just picks up more product and it's easier to clean. Like, you can just clean it off on a napkin. So now with that same brush that I used to pick up the shade Buttery, I'm using the shade Metallic Plum, and this is just to kind of intensify the outer part of my eye, and you slowly want to build this into your crease. You don't want to put too much because then it's going to look like you have a raccoon eye, and we do not want that. So just slowly build it in and blend it out, and then add more product as you go. So today I'm skipping the liner and going straight in with mascara. I'm just applying a quick coat. This is actually a mascara from MDM Flow, and this is the Greater Than mascara. I actually got this from BoxyCharm. It's actually the only one that I had in front of me, so I just picked it up. It's not a bad mascara, honestly, but it's no better than Sex mascara. I can say that. Alright, so I'm using the Nivea Post Shave Balm to prime my face. Like I said in my other video, I know that it does break out my face, so I've just been avoiding my chin area because that's where I'm most sensitive. You guys can use it to your liking. If it breaks out your face, I'm sorry, this is a disclaimer, but I'm just applying this all over. Like I said, I'm totally avoiding my chin because I do not want any more breakouts. And also keep in mind when you're applying this, you're going to want to keep rubbing it into your skin until it gets tacky. You don't want to just put it on really quickly like you would lotion and then go in with your foundation. You want to keep rubbing it in until it feels sticky or it feels tacky. For my foundation, I'm going in with my tried and true, my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, and I'm in the shade Rattan. I'm just going to be dabbing it all over my face, and I have been using a brush lately to blend it out. I haven't been using a beauty sponge. So first I go in and I use round circular motions to kind of blend everything out, and then I go in and pack it. That way I'm setting it and I'm not pushing the product around as much. So the brush that I'm using is actually a Morphe angled buffer brush, and this one is from the Deluxe Contour Set by Morphe. So to highlight my face, I'm using the same thing that I used to prime my eyes, which is the Maybelline Master Conceal, and I use the shade Light. So I'm just going to apply this all underneath my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and then of course on my cupid's bow, my chin, and the center of my forehead. And I'm just applying this with my finger, and then I go in with a brush to kind of blend it all out. So the brush I'm using is a pointed contour buffer brush. This is actually a brush from that same Deluxe Contour Set that I used my foundation brush from. So here I'm just pushing in the product to my skin. I feel like doing this versus using a damp sponge. I feel like the sponge kind of absorbs a lot of the product, and when I use the brush, it kind of pushes it in because I do like a really intense highlight, so I would rather push the product into my face as to picking it up, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just kind of blending it all out evenly and making sure that it looks blended. So I also have been using my setting powder a little differently too. I've been actually using a Morphe brush for that as well, but I picked up my sponge because it was right in front of me, and I actually didn't use it damp. I just picked it up dry, just how it was, and I picked up my Airspun setting powder, and I'm just applying this everywhere that I applied my concealer. So under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, and then also on my forehead. You can use this damp, it's completely up to you, but I just prefer to use it dry. To be honest, had I had used my sponge for my foundation and concealer, it would have already been damp, and I just would have picked it up as it was. I mean, I just used it dry because that's how I had it, but you can use it however you want. Alright, so to contour, I'm using my lovely slash jacked up contour kit. This one is of course by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm actually picking up all three shades. Yep, look, see how jacked up that is? So I'm just using all three shades. I'm not really trying to have a precise contour. I'm really just using this to kind of make me look a little bronzy. And I'm just bronzing up the way I usually do. I guess the only difference between contouring and bronzing is that you're a little more precise. I am going to go in and clean up my contour just to make it look a little cleaner, but as for contouring, I'm not really doing that. I'm just trying to bronze up my face a little bit to give myself some color. So now to clean up the contour, I'm just going in with that same beauty sponge. It is dry, like I said, but you can use it however you want. But I'm just going in and using very little of that Airspun to kind of clean it up a little bit. I'm not doing any kind of intense bakage. That's not the kind of look that I'm going for. I'm just going in for something real subtle. But if you want to do some intense bakage, by all means, go ahead. You do you, boo. For blush, I'm using Benefit's Dandelion, and I'm just using any blush brush that I have. I think this one I got from an Ipsy bag a while back. It actually doesn't have a number or a label on it or anything, but I'm just using it to apply it to the apples of my cheeks. Alright, so to highlight, I'm going in with my favorite highlight of all times, Champagne Pop. Yes, look at it. I already hit pan. Ugh. So I'm highlighting my bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose. I'm also highlighting my cupid's bow, my chin, and then of course the highest points of my cheeks. If I did, what's my prize? I just wanna play with you. And here I'm just picking up a big Morphe stippling brush and I'm dusting off all that excess powder underneath my contour. So I know that I've tend to get a little heavy-handed with my dip brow, especially on my brows. I can be super intense, so I've been trying to go a little natural lately. So I've been just using these two powders. This is actually from a Revealed palette. This is a Coastal Scents one, and I'm picking up the warm brown and a little bit of black just to kind of deepen it a little bit, and I'm very lightly filling in my brows. I don't want them too intense, but I do want to fill them in enough so they're a little defined. And then here I just grabbed a spoolie that I had and I'm blending it out a little bit. It kind of diffuses the lines that I had at the bottom of my brow that was actually defining it, but it's okay. I'm gonna go in with concealer to kind of sharpen it up a little bit. So I just squeezed out a little bit of my concealer on the back of my hand and I'm going in with a double-sided brush. This is actually one that I have from one of my Naked palettes, and I actually don't use it for the shadows, so I'm like, might as well. So those of you who have this brush, you can see here that I'm using the thicker part to go in and apply the product, and then I kind of flip the brush around, and I use the smaller part to actually get in there to get a little more precision and kind of blend it out. That way it doesn't completely mess up my eyeshadow. Alright, so once I'm done cleaning up my brows, I go in and just set my concealer with a little bit of a shimmer shade. This one's from the same Revealed palette that I used for my brows. I'm using just the lightest shade and applying this on my brow bone. And then I'm going back in with that same fluffy crease brush with no extra product, and I'm just using that to blend out whatever I had on my lid and then up into the brow highlight. That way it looks nice and blended. Alright, so for my lips, I was actually going to mix two Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks, and as you can see, I'm not good at overlining. Like, I'm not. So I was like, I'm just going to go in with a nude. So I picked up my Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in the color Pure Hollywood, and I'm just applying that. I'm playing it safe. I totally tried to overline, and it was a disaster. Like, I give props to the girls who can do it. Like, and it looks good. And me, I look like it's just not cute. Like, there's not even a word for it. I'm like, I can't do this. Nope. And here, I'm just going in with a little bit of concealer to try to clean up the mess that I made. And then I'll go in with no additional product on my foundation brush to go over top. So I know my big head totally like cut off, but I'm just going in and spraying some Fix Plus. And then also I totally forgot to add a little coat of mascara on my bottom lashes. I actually didn't go in with any shadow or anything like that because I want my eyes to look big and not so closed, I guess, if that makes sense. I want them to look fresh and awake. I didn't want to add any liner or shadow to make them look smaller. And that completes this look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye.